Morning, good afternoon, good evening, restaurant owners. This is Ryan Gronf with the Restaurant Boss, and today I have a video for you about why it's so difficult to manage different types of brands all within the same company with the same management group. This could apply to you even if you're just a one unit restaurant. Now, if you're a multi-unit, multi-brand restaurant, I highly encourage you to watch this video. But even if you're just a single unit, smaller operator, there are going to be some really key important facts and some strategies in here that I think are really going to help you. I cannot express to you how passionate I am about safety and sanitation in your restaurant, and it drives me absolutely crazy how some restaurants take this just too casually. If you're looking for products that can help you run a restaurant more efficiently, Torque is a professional hygiene brand that you absolutely want to partner with. They have some of the most innovative, easy to use products that will keep your restaurant clean and running smoothly, some of which you can see here. But to see the entire line of Torque products, head to torqueusa.com/boss. So I want to quickly bring up onto the video here an article that I just saw this morning when I was checking my email. So this article shows up in my inbox from FSR Magazine, which I love, by the way. You guys should definitely be subscribed to their emails and get their physical magazine. Activist investor pushes Cheesecake Factory to spin off 3 brands. Whenever I see anything with Cheesecake Factory, I'm interested. I grew up in West Los Angeles, about a mile from the original Cheesecake Factory location in the early 80s. I've been eating at that brand my entire life. As I've moved across the country, I went to school in Rhode Island, in Providence, culinary school at Johnson Wales. There was a Cheesecake Factory there. I lived in Dallas. There was a Cheesecake Factory. I lived in Austin. There was a Cheesecake Factory. Like, it's just part of me. Like, it's just threaded into my being. I've also been a shareholder, a stockholder in Cheesecake Factory at multiple times in my life. I really think this is a great brand. Right before COVID, to give you an idea of kind of what's about to happen or what I'm about to share with you, is right before COVID, literally like a couple of weeks before COVID, Cheesecake Factory purchased another brand that I'm very familiar with, Fox Restaurant Concept or Fox Restaurant Group. They've created some really exciting brands. Now, the 3 we're going to focus on here, they created about 8 or 9 different brands through the maybe 15 years, the early 2000s up until 2020 when they sold the cheesecake. Brands like Flower Child, which is a quick service, more healthful focused brand, really focuses on like the yoga moms, shopping centers, lifestyle malls. They've created a brand called Culinary Dropout, which my family loves. It's an open kitchen, gastropub, big bar, casual, cornhole games and ping pong tables, but like really cool, exciting chef-driven food. Very reasonably priced for what it is. They've created another brand called The Henry, which we're not going to focus on here today. That's kind of a casual lounge brand. And then a brand called North Italia, which we love. Again, really high quality, simple Italian menu. Price conscious. It's not a low priced brand, but it's not a fine dining brand. But their whole thing is they make their own pastas in-house. They have some pizzas on the menu, a couple of entrees, a couple of appetizers, really wine by the glass focused. Very simple. My wife and I love it on date night because we can get in and get out fairly quick. Our son also likes it. It's not his favorite, obviously. It's a little more of an adult brand, but it's reasonably priced, really great quality food. So when I saw this article in my head, I knew what it was. I knew that there were people pushing to spin off the Fox brands from the Cheesecake Factory brands. And sure enough, this article was posted October 22nd, so just this morning. As you get into it, one of the investors, JCP, who owns a 2% stake in Cheesecake Factory. Now, that may not sound a lot, but for a publicly traded company, 2% gets you a voice. That's actually a decent amount. I think it's Papas Group. I think it's James Papas, who started like Papas and Beer and Papas and why can't I think of the name? They're a Houston-based brand. Anyways, they look them up. They have a lot of brands out here in the Texas area. Very, very successful, great restaurant group. But they're pushing for Cheesecake Factory to have its own management team And then basically the Fox concept. So Culinary Dropout, Flower Child, and North Italia to have its own management team, basically separate them out. And then they even want to sell off a few of the smaller brands. I actually, at first look, think this is a great idea because Cheesecake Factory is just, in my opinion, as much as I love that brand and as much as it runs deep into my heart and the fiber of my being, it is an old, dated concept. Even the new stores that they are building, they're building them with the same design elements and the same layouts and the same everything of like the late 90s, early 2000 when that brand was at its peak. They're just not adapting. Their menu is still huge, and I know that's part of their brand, and they will never have a small menu. But because of that big menu, they have big pricing and a lot of staff and a lot of kitchen and a lot of culinary. And it works in that brand, but I think that thinking is a little different thinking than what these newer, more modern, younger, fresher, hipper concepts are. And I just don't see how, when you're sitting in a room with a marketing team, I don't see how the marketing team could think about marketing Fox or Culinary Dropout and think about marketing Cheesecake Factory. I don't see how the same team could be developing marketing strategies for North Italia that also work for Cheesecake Factory. When we talk about operations, I think there's just two different mindsets. When we look at percentages and P&Ls and budget allocations, I think there's just two different ways that this is going to work. So overall, I think, like, to kind of wrap this up, my advice for you is stay in your lane. We live in a world now where we have to go deep. We have to be experts at what we do. We can no longer be dabblers. We can't just open up this brand and open up that brand and open up that brand and just be like, oh, we're going to do great. Like, the world is looking for the best in every category right now. I don't just eat at your average restaurants anymore. I'm very particular about where I spend my money. I only want to eat at the best. And to be the best, in my opinion, I think we have to get more focused, right? Cheesecake Factory is great in the 80s and 90s. Now, somehow they're able to keep pulling off the fact that they have really good pizza, really good hamburgers, really good burritos, really good entrees, really good Asian food. Like, that's an anomaly. But today it's all about focus. It's about being the best at what you do. So if you run a brand right now, go deep in that brand. Open up more of that brand. Focus on what it takes for that brand to be super successful. Study it. Go to other restaurants. Go to competitors. Learn everything you can about the cuisine. Like, really be the best at that before you start branching off and try to open up, I don't know, some other types of brands. But again, I like this idea. I think separating them out would be great. And my advice to you is stay in your lane, go deep, don't go wide. I have videos on deep and wide menus that I've done before. But if you want to learn more about this, right, just head over to FSR. There's some additional articles you can click on here to follow up on it. It gets a little deep into kind of financials in Q2 and Q4, more like kind of stock investor stuff. But when I read this article, again, for me, it was just, I wanted to share this with you because the second I saw the headline in my email box, I was like, oh, I know what this is. I hope y'all have an absolutely amazing day. This is Ryan with The Restaurant Boss. If you don't have your free copy of Make It Happen, go ahead and head to the website, therestaurantboss.com, grab that. But also just check out all the free resources we have on our YouTube channel and at therestaurantboss.com. And also check out clickbacon.com. Look for some updates on that. We're going to be releasing our brand new version 2, fully redeveloped, coming up here soon in the next couple of weeks. Have an absolutely amazing day. And remember, systems create freedom. Freedom creates value. Value creates scale. Value creates scale. Sorry about that. It's still early. Have an amazing day.
Make It Happen is the book I wish I had when I was operating restaurants. Inside are the lessons that took me 10 years to learn and 10 more years of teaching to perfect. I've condensed the most important lessons into this tiny book for building a big restaurant business. I am on a mission to improve restaurants all over the world. Because of that, I want to send you a free copy. Grab yours today at therestaurantboss.com.